I love the ocean, you know. My father loved the ocean too. Ever before in my life, whenever I had a problem or something that I could not figure out, I would come to the ocean. And I have not been able to do that lately. And coming today here gives me a feeling that I'm going to be myself again, you know. I know I am. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2010. He told me I had Parkinson's, and for about 2 days it was like the end of the world, you know. And then I decided that if I had it, I was going to do something about it. So I got some of the brochures that he had given me and I read them. And I realized straight off that it was not the end of the world, that there was a lot that I could do for myself. So I decided that I was going to be as proactive as I could. Well, really, I'm only at the very beginning of my journey because I've only been on BX for maybe 8 weeks now. And the first 2 weeks were at such a minimal level, you know, that I didn't really sense any big changes. But then the second 2 weeks, he increased my dosage to the point that I began to see things like my handwriting improving and things like that. And my motion, you know, my shoulders and my arms move better now, my legs move better. Before the BX, I could not go out in my garden anymore and even water the little plants without, you know, holding on to things and being afraid that I was going to fall. And now I can do that, not be afraid that I'm going to fall. And I can come to the beach now and walk in the sand and go out to the water and know that I'm going to be better again. One of the first things I noticed was that my handwriting improved to the point that I could write numbers and have them be legible, which is huge for me. And my handwriting, my penmanship is still not good, but it's getting better. You know, I have to sign checks, and my signatures on the checks are getting better now. One of the first really personal things that happened was when I could go over to see my grandson, and my daughter was there, and just the three of us in the house. And so we went up to his room, and she sat on the floor with him. And I sat down on the floor with my grandson and played with him, which was a big thing to me because, you know, I had not even been able to get up and down very easily before. And I have done that since once more too. And I don't know if anyone else notices, but I know that it's something that I could not have done before. Or like last night, I was putting the BX away and the CT in the fridge, and the BX is just that little bottle, you know, and so it fell through on the floor, and it fell and rolled under a cabinet that was next to it. And I thought, oh no, now I'm going to have to get down on the floor and get that. And before, it would be very difficult for me to get on the floor and to get up again. And so I thought, well, now this is a good chance to test it out, you know. And I got down on the floor. I just held onto the edge of the cabinet and got on the floor and reached under and got it and stood up again. And that is better than I would ever have thought I could do before. I used to come down to the beach with Darwin and also up at the park, but I have not been able to take him in the last months because I was so unsteady on my feet. And so I'm looking forward to being able to do this again with him. I've been working in real estate for over 30 years now, and at this point, I simply manage 3 properties that my partners and I own. It's been a challenge because I have to stay in touch with the people who are managing and be able to speak to them and be able to think and talk and make decisions and be on top of things for them so that they can continue to have confidence in me. And also my partner and the investors need to, because they all know that I have Parkinson's. Because, you know, it's multi-million-dollar properties that we have. and they are in my hands. The BX now gives me mental clarity and stamina. And now I have it. I have that wellspring of stamina inside me because of the BX, and I know that for a fact. I don't need my blood pressure medication anymore, so now I'm down just to have the Cinemet, which helps, you know, it helps. But the Cinemet on its own does not do any more than just mask your symptoms for a couple of hours, that's all. And the thing I like about the BX is that it is going to treat the cause. And so that's why I'm, anxious about the BX. Not only that it addresses the cause of the inflammation, but I have taken it enough to know in the last 2 months that it helps me. And it's going to help me more. I know it's going to help me a lot more. BX is not magic. There is no magic, but it is the next best thing, which is it gives me sustainable energy and stamina, physical, mental stamina. I have the mental energy and confidence to do it. Whereas sometimes before, it would be hard to imagine that I could keep going and live a life with Parkinson's. Now I know I can, and I will. And with this much only in 2 months, I'm anxious to see what next year brings. There were times when, people think that they say, well, you've got to be strong and you've got to remember. And you do, but sometimes there is no strength left and you just would rather give up than to live the way I was thinking of living. But now I know that I've got a good future with my family and my grandchildren, and I'm anxious to get to it, I really am.